across to Dr. Sambit Patra first. What's your plan, Dr. Patra? Does the government in India intend to order a probe? We've seen in Parliament, the government has denied the charges of illegal surveillance. Is that where you hope this matter ends? Or will you follow the lead of France, order a probe by a government prosecution investigation agency? Should this be a court-monitored probe? Should it be a JPC? Or should there be no probe at all? Dr. Patra.
See, Rahul, give me a patient hearing for a few seconds. There are three important points which I want to emphasize. Point number one, as far as the data is concerned, the 300 categorical names which have been released as far as India as a country and the quote-unquote potential targets in India are concerned, it is by the wire. And in fact, I have the article in front of me, Wire being the partner in the international consortium. And the Wire categorically mentions in this article, and you can see right from the beginning I've amplified it, they use a word may in the article. Pegasus project, how phones of journalists, ministers, activists may have been used to spy on them, number one. And they begin by saying, I quote, the presence of a phone number in the data does alone not reveal whether a device was infected with Pegasus or subject to an attempted hack. However, the Pegasus project, a consortium of international news organizations, believes the data is indicative of potential targets identified in advance possible surveillance attempts. And if we go through the whole article, we would find time and again that words as may, might be, assumptions, we cannot take the name of the judge because nothing is confirmatory. Such kind of phrases have been used time and again. So I can conclude that most of this right now is in the realms of, I would say, assumption. Most of it is fictional rather than facts. So whether we should have an investigation about a fiction or fact is a question that we have to discuss tonight with you. Number two is...
So just hold that. Let me put that question to Supriya Shrinate. I'm coming back to you, Dr. Patra, in a moment. You're saying at this moment we're in the realm of a lot of conjecture and speculation where fact and fiction aren't fully defined. Let those be fleshed out properly before we get into what kind of a probe there should be and who should be leading the investigation. Supriya Shrinate.
So just for the benefit of viewers and just to make a point across to people who are listening to this, the reality is that this isn't about India alone. This has happened in 45 countries, 17 investigative news media organizations with the top-notch like Washington Post and Guardian of London and Le Monde of France and Radio France and, you know, Soir of Belgium. Many of these top-notch news investigative agencies have done this. They have put out a list. There has also been forensic evidence. There have also been lab tests of few of those phones, 10 of them belonging to people who were in the targeted list in India, and it does show remnants of the Pegasus software. That's the first point I want to make. The second point I want to make is that NSO, the company that owns the Pegasus software, has once again asserted they only sell to vetted sovereign governments, which means it cannot go in private consumption. It cannot be sold to any agency that they may want to, only to sovereign governments. The third thing, and this is an important thing, it's not just about the leader of India's principal opposition. It is not just against sexual harassment charges made by a woman and 11 of her coordinates being on the targeted list, or for that matter, an election commissioner in an election year, or for that matter, a political strategist in a poll-bound state and the relative of the sitting chief minister. But it now appears that phone numbers on the targeted list were also of the sitting deputy chief minister, the secretary of the chief minister, the secretary of, a former chief minister, and the PSO of a former prime minister. This violates the Official Secrets Act, the IT Act, the right to privacy, and more than anything else, this amounts to stalking of women. I am not even talking about within the Modi government, the people who have been, put under surveillance. My basic thing is, if the government believes this is all concocted, it is being foolhardy. Because this has been done by reputed organizations. If you still believe it's concocted...